What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is the Season 3 Week 9 video for the Leonis division. This is the final week for this division. And let's take a look at the standings before we look at some of these matches. First of all, we have Sandrooster, coach of Unicorn, Gunfight, 21 points, 7-1-0 record. Been incredibly impressive all season. Only loss is to Highwind. Zhalk of Boco Buddies in similar fashion with 21 points, same record. Only loss is to Sandrooster, which is why Sandrooster is currently in first place. After that, MaechenX of the Shoometal Alchemists, currently in third place, has an opportunity to make a statement this week. If he wins, he will be the third seed. If he loses, the fourth place team, King Delita of Arknights, has a potential chance to jump him, but would need to at least score one more point than MaechenX does this week for that to happen. So these four teams are already locked into the playoffs. It's really just who ends up in one spot. We know MaechenX and King Delita will be somewhere between 3 and 5. MaechenX is 3 to 4. King Delita is 3 to 5, depending. And Sandrooster and Zhalk are 1 and 2 in some fashion. After this, it gets really interesting, though. We have JAYBLACK of Chronic Fatigue. If it ended right now, he would be the 5th seed, but two other teams looking to try and pass him up. Highwind of Tears for Spears with the same amount of points. JAYBLACK did win the head-to-head against Highwind in Week 1, which is why he currently has the tiebreaker. And JohnnyB of Disposable Heroes obviously needs these other teams to lose, and he needs to win to have a chance, but he is sitting there at 12 points and is by no means out of it. AllSmokedUp of the Trap Queens, unfortunately, is out of the playoffs, loses on some of those tiebreaker scenarios where they could potentially meet up all at 13 points, but regardless, going to try and end off the season with a win. Willie Goats of the Corpse Brigade with 8, and Taiyo of Fire Force with 5. Both always bring some really interesting and fun matches to watch, so I'm excited for that. So we've got a bunch of banger matchups to go here. I take my face off the screen. We've got Sandrooster versus JohnnyB, Zhalk versus MaechenX, King Delita versus JAYBLACK, Highwind versus Willie Goats, and AllSmokedUp versus Taiyo. That is not the order that the matches will probably be in. That's just from last week. But regardless, should be a really fun week. Let's jump into the matches. Kicking off the final week of the Leonis division, we've got a couple of teams in this matchup that don't really matter for the standings, but a couple of teams that I think are truly some of my favorites to watch, coming out with some really cool creative stuff. Revitalize coming out from the Setia for Taiyo's Fire Force, and it looks like also running a Vistral and Terra composition, as AllSmokedUp running double water plus 1 ice. This is looking pretty good for AllSmokedUp considering water versus fire. However, Taiyo has beaten a water team before with fire, so we'll have to see if he can pull it off again. Deep Fortification coming out from the Asterisk, getting that HP absorb buff and the AoE on the entire team. Runic Blade coming out from Celis means that Terra is very likely to do not a whole lot of damage this fight. Commune with Espers coming out, though, and this is one of the things that we've seen from Taiyo a handful of times. Some of that Esper tech, you'll love to see it. Indomitability coming out from the Asterisk to get the Courage online. Also gives him some slash tech piercing, I believe. Sharp Spear Resolute coming out from the Surges. And Surges is actually a unit that's put in some good work this season as one of our 30 costers. Thermal Explosion coming out from Setia. Good damage onto the Surges. Not a whole lot onto the two water units, though. What can Vistral get done? Needle Toss comes out for 600. Not a lot of damage, but does drop the unit attack resist on the Celis. So we'll see if that pays any dividends for Taiyo here, as Celis is going to go next. I expect maybe a Magic Burst or something like that. What does she go for? It's actually the Rune Break. 6,600 damage, dropping the Spirit on the Terra. And I don't think Terra ever got her Courage off. Meltdown Plus is going to get soaked up by the Celis, which means Terra is very likely to do nothing in this fight. The Vistral is going to go with the standard attack from behind, just shy of 400 damage, so barely just tickling Celis at the moment. Asterisk is going to go Cross Destruction, 14,000 damage onto the Setia. Wow, that is a ton. Here comes Surges, following up with the Treasure Hunter's Fortune. He said, hey, you know what? I'm just going to stay out of this fight. You two can clean this up. Celis might even be able to land a kill here on a Terra. I expect that she can. Sleep Blade is going to come out, and unfortunate with the elemental disadvantage, Taiyo doesn't have a whole lot of answers to water for the most part, and AllSmokedUp picks up the Game 1 victory. Game number 2 between Taiyo of Fire Force and AllSmokedUp of the Trap Queens here. And what do we got? AllSmokedUp running Astrius, Halloween Lucia, and Surges as the Boon of the Lion King Mont TMR comes out from Astrius. Halloween Lucia, I expect to go with this buff right here, Spell of Fortification, to get that huge physical health shield online. There's not a whole lot of physical damage coming out from the other side from Taiyo, so that shield's really not going to matter a whole lot. It does give her some AoE resist as well, as the Keenblade comes out from Surges, but Rain says he's going to start it right off with a Shining Nova. That is actually a ton of damage. Holy crap, Rain just almost one-shot Halloween Lucia. That is impressive. Also dropped the fire attack resistance. Not that it's going to matter a whole lot, because I don't think she's going to live another hit. And Yuna might pick up a kill here with the Energy Ray, excuse me, Limit Break from Valifor, easily killing the Halloween Lucia. She's down for the count already. Surges is half health. The only problem for Taiyo is that there is a full health Astrius against multiple fire units. Cross of Destruction comes out though. Yuna hangs on, and Rain is going to take very little damage from that with massive AoE resistance, but Armor Piercer comes out from the Surges, cleans up the healer. And this could be pretty tough still for Taiyo's Fire Force. How much damage does the Astrius do from the Limit Break? I just saw he only has 1 AP after this Limit Break, but 9,400 followed by the Crystal Tracer is enough to take out Rain. And Terra, unless she can somehow two-shot both of them, I think it is probably over. Crescent Riot Blade is going to come out. How much damage is it going to do? It's going to hit both units, but only 2,300 onto the Astrius. Easily going to clean up the Surges, but I imagine Astrius wins this 1v1 even without AP. He's going to use Indomitability, going to make this even harder on Terra, because now he does have his Courage online. Terra with 83 AP. Bamboo Splitter comes out. 3,000 isn't too bad. But does she have anything to save her life here? I'm not so sure about that. 31 AP on the Astrius. And if he can't one-shot, he probably does also with the follow-up attack. Constricting Cleave, going to do 7,800, 3,400 on the follow-up, and AllSmokedUp of the Trap Queens, ending his season in very impressive fashion with a 2-0 series win over Taiyo of Fire Force. Thank you both players for playing all season. Again, a couple of my favorite teams to watch. Very awesome to see for all 9 weeks. And let's head to the next series. Kicking off this Leonis Division series, we've got Sandrooster of the Unicorn Gunfight versus JohnnyB and Disposable Heroes. Sandrooster only dropping 1 series all season so far to this point. Can JohnnyB pull off the upset to keep his playoff hopes alive? Automail's Crux comes out from Edward Elric, and it looks like a double fire evasion squad coming out from JohnnyB. It is the Brumal form right away from Yuffie to guarantee that she will dodge guaranteed hits, which Edward Elric does have in his kit with the Adamantine Pillar transformation. Evasion skills coming out from Pissarro. It's going to help up that evasion stat. However, I will say it did not land on Yuffie. It's just him and the Mia here, as it looks like the AoE buff going to come out from the Charisse. Mia's going to go next. And what can she get done? A 30 cost unit that's pretty underplayed, I would say. It looks like she does not have any sort of buffs turned on at the moment. I take that back. She is channeling a spell, which means this might be a Light Veil. Yes, it is. Sandrooster does have Jaden Rundall on his team, so that might be in preparation for that. The Quicken comes out from Phoebe, and here comes Edward Elric, and we have not seen an answer to this Quicken Edward team basically all season. The King Bradley TMR on Edward makes him very, very speedy, and that is going to help a lot with another haste TMR coming out from Charisse. The Quicken timings I expect to be good now. We'll see how this works though. Phoebe's going to go now. How long is the cast time? Does this actually go before or after the haste? It's right after. I expect nothing less coming out from Sandrooster. I'm sure he has put his time into this to make sure this timing goes off correctly. The Indomitable Spirit comes out from Pissarro, so he now has Courage online. But what can Yuffie get done here before Edward takes 2 turns in a row? She's going to jump up in the air. She's going to dodge any damage coming out from Edward now. She's up in the air. Both of these turns from him, as somehow Edward evades Mia. Both of these attacks, neither one of them will hit Yuffie. She's going to be up in the air for both of them. Full Metal Rage comes out. I think this is just on the Mia. And if you are JohnnyB, this looks pretty good for you. I know Mia dying is not what you want, but at least it goes onto her, not your 2 main carries. The Quicken comes out from Edward. He's going to hit again. Can he reach the Pissarro? He should be able to, I believe. This is that guaranteed hit. Adamantine Pillar transformation, also removing the physical damage up that Pissarro has. The Dragon Dive doing good AoE onto both Charisse and the Phoebe here. But crucially, Pissarro still has his Courage online as well, and I don't think there is any Courage removal on Sandrooster's team. It looks like Charisse just didn't take a turn there, So apparently she does not have the accuracy to hit either of these evasion units. The Knight's Blessing TMR comes out from Phoebe though, trying to keep the backline a little bit healthier. Pursuit Techniques comes out, and that just verifies exactly what I said. She cannot hit either one of these evasion units at all. So this is Edward, Elric, or nothing. Edward or bust on the team here for Sandrooster. Strike of Ruin comes out from Pissarro, dealing a good chunk to both units again. Edward's going to get an opportunity here, but Adamantine Pillar gets dodged by the Yuffie. That Broom will form, putting in work here. Can Yuffie find a double kill on these two backline units? She's got 52 AP. It's going to be a Windstorm Plus. That is the double kill. Double blind and double death here. JohnnyB versus Sandrooster. This might be a game one upset for JohnnyB. We'll have to see here. Adamantine Pillar comes out, and the Brumal form is still active. But now it is a 1v1 between Yuffie and Edward. Edward only has 2 AP, and I don't think Yuffie has much. She has 20. So she has a slight advantage at the moment. How much damage can she get done? She's going to jump up in the air again. But this time, it will not be during Edward's turn. Jump does 5k, but she's basically out of AP, but Edward can't hit. And if he can't hit, he can't get AP. That is huge. Yuffie, excuse me, going to take another turn, and she needs one more turn to get a kill. Now the question is, can Edward one-shot? He can't if he can't get any AP, but he's going to use Automill's Crux to get Protect and AP Restore online, but Yuffie's going to go next. I imagine this should be a kill and a game one victory for JohnnyB. Art of War comes out, and it's going to do it. And that is a massive game one victory for the Disposable Heroes. JohnnyB with that game one win puts himself in a position, I'm not entirely sure on the tiebreakers. With 13 points, he might be able to make it if both JAYBLACK and Highwind lose, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But if he wins this series, he definitely has a better chance. The AoE buff coming out from Edward to try and get that AoE resistance up, as well as a bunch of nice other things. Evasion skills coming out from the Pissarro here. And now this time it is on the Yuffie rather than him and the Mia as Brumal form comes out again. We saw how much work this put in the first game, but this time it's a switch up as the TMR comes out from Gargus. It is not Mia, it is actually Uni this time, which actually is a very smart move from JohnnyB considering Phoebe is here. That is going to nullify any sort of haste or CT shenanigans that Sandrooster wants to try and pull off. So here comes Uni. What is he going to go for? It is the arrow fall on all three. So if this is a haste from Phoebe, which I don't expect it is, I do expect it to quicken. That's normally what it is from Sandrooster, so that's kind of what we expected. But if there's haste TMR or anything like that, it will not work. Automill's Crux is going to come out from Edward. And now he's ready to go. He basically dispels anything whenever he hits somebody here. Indomitable Spear coming out from the Pissarro, so he's got Courage online again. And what can Yuffie get done on this turn? She's got tons of AP. She goes Fiery Banishment this time, so removes the Protect from Edward. Almost lands the kill. Can any of these units hit the Yuffie? Actually, Knight's Blessing coming out from Phoebe, so very, very nice TMR from Queen Mashri TMR here. A big heal, barrier on all three. What can Gargus get done here? Is this the... It is the Windlash on the back, and he actually has the accuracy to hit the Pissarro. I'm a bit surprised by that, but I'm sure Sandrooster investing in a lot of accuracy here, and it is showing now as Edward is now accurate enough to hit Yuffie without the guaranteed hit anyway, even though Brumal form would have dodged it regardless. But here's the Grease Lightning onto the Gargus. How much damage does it do? 5,000 is definitely not enough to one-shot. Yuffie might be able to take care of him here. But this might be a little too late for JohnnyB here with Sandrooster doing so much damage with the Edward. Windstorm Plus comes out. The Blind does not land either. And I think Sandrooster probably having Blind Resist on his units. Not sure if Edward comes with that naturally. But here comes Phoebe. Is this a Quicken or is this a full life? I kind of think this is a full life. Predictive Counter comes out, but it's not enough to kill the Edward. That might have been massive if she landed that kill because she would still be alive if she did. But it's not quite enough damage. Pissarro going to go next. He's going to go for the Edward, and now if this is a Quicken, JohnnyB I think just wins. If it's a full life, Sandrooster might have a shot. It is a full life. It does land under the Gargus. He's going to go next. He has Unavailable Pain in his kit. It's going to be that. He has guaranteed hits in his kits, and that is going to get the Game 2 victory for Sandrooster in Unicorn Gunfight. Game number 3 here, and JohnnyB really trying to win this series to increase his playoff chances. Sandrooster is going to go next with the Mariel, Edward, Elric, and Gargus composition. Looks like he forgot to turn auto on, but he did so before using any sort of skill or anything like that. And not quite the same strategy as last time, as I missed this last time. Full Moon style. This is the Halloween Little Leela TMR. This actually also increases accuracy. So very smart. decision here by Sandrooster. He did that last time to try and make sure to hit the evasion units. This time there is no evasion from JohnnyB, as a couple of buffs coming out from the double water girls. Summer, Elsie, Miranda, paired alongside the Lorenzo in the back here. Should be interesting. Automill's Crux comes out from the Edward, Protect, AP Auto Restore, and Dispel on hit. And Lorenzo's going to Keenblade. Does Miranda hop turn order here? I expect she will. Yes, she will. Is she in range to deal damage? Dispelling Thrust comes out, so removing any sort of buffs Mariel had on her. But Gargus is a beast, and I expect this to do a decent amount of damage here, especially if Mariel can debuff Spirit with Mind Crusher, but she actually doesn't go for Miranda. She goes for the Summer Elsie in the back, but apparently she did that because she knew that Gargus was going to proc Courage on Miranda. Edward's going to go next. Adamantine Pillar will take her out, and unfortunately for JohnnyB, this looks to be a little too late in this series. A little too late for the damage in Game 3, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Lorenzo's going to hop up into the air. Magic Orb, 1k damage onto Mariel. Horizontal Jump will come out as well. And this MR tank is doing her best to try and make sure that Sandrooster wins his series. Not only is Sandrooster trying to stop JohnnyB from getting in the playoffs, he's also trying to clinch that 1 seed. So if he wins this matchup, he will do that. Wallbreaker comes out. That is a double kill, or would be if not for the Courage. Gargus is going to find it with the Windlash, though. A very impressive showing by Sandrooster and Unicorn Gunfight, winning Game 3. Congratulations. Heading into the series, Zhalk versus MaechenX. Zhalk has already sealed his fate as the 2nd seed here, but MaechenX looking to try and win the series to make sure to clinch a top 3 seed and not have to play next week. We'll see if they can pull it off. MaechenX running a Cloud, Freyevia, and Valade composition. I tried to say composition and concentration at the same time, as that was the buff that Cloud just used to get the agility up on the entire team. Steady Summer Flower coming out to nullify a bunch of statuses from the Freyevia here, who's rocking 15.6k health. But Zhalk is running a very formidable team, dark and light. Little Leela, Grace, and Sephiroth. We've seen how good this team is all season. Ice Vitalization coming out from the Valade, so he now has Hate down. And Heart of Flutter coming out from the Little Leela means she is very, very speedy in terms of her movement, and she also gets unit attack resist to boot. What is Grace going to go for? She's channeling something. Sephiroth going to go Veil of Woe, now has a big old barrier and some AP restore. And on the other side, the only way to break barriers is Cloud's Limit Break. But he's going to go Soldier's Honor. So if they crit, they get some AP back. A skill that's sometimes turned on, sometimes turned off on Cloud here, as the Dragon's Bloodline comes out from the Valade. Try and guarantee a few of those top tier status effects don't come through. Freyevia is going to go next with the Taunting Spell, so she's got tons of hate at the moment. Little Leela probably going to go for Silencing Spell. Actually gets reflexed by the Cloud. She does land it, but there is silence resistance on MaechenX's team. Look at that preparation. Telluric Fury coming out from the Freyevia. In fact, I'm thinking about it, I think that was the Steady Summer Flower TMR that nullified that, as Regen gets procced on the Freyevia. Triple Slash is a nice little chain from Cloud, but that is not nearly as much damage as you'd like to see. However, the barrier for the Sephiroth is now gone at the moment. Valade might be able to find an AoE heal on the entire team. He's going to do so. Cure comes out, but not as much as you'd like to see, with that healing power drop coming from the Little Leela, but Regen still gives her about 1200 health. A nice slash chain here by the Freyevia, but she does not move out of the way of her allies, which means they are in AoE range. Shadow Flare comes through, 4k onto the Cloud, similar numbers to the Valade as well. They managed to live it though. The Holy is going to hit the Freyevia. How well does she tank this? Very well is the answer. Literally, look, can she find a kill with a slash chain? Yes, she can. The Valade drops, and that is going to be very hard to overcome for Machen. If Valade lived, I think maybe they have a chance. Mega Slash is good damage, and Reflex is always a possibility, but as long as Grace and Little Leela are standing, they have massive amounts that they can just heal themselves, essentially. Hell's Gate comes through. That finds the kill onto the damage dealer, and Freyevia is a very good unit. She does have full life in her kit, so if she is able to get that on a Cloud, maybe, but this Curiga is going to heal them up and also give some AoE resist as well. It's going to be very hard for Machen's Freyevia to overcome this, but she's still standing tall, and in fact, she doesn't even go for full life. She goes for Steady Summer Flower. I do wonder, maybe MaechenX isn't running that in the moment, but I anticipate he is, and I wonder if it is still a bug with Freyevia's AI. I know she was having some issues at one point, not casting certain white mage spells, and I'm really starting to think that is the case, is now she's going to go Attract Barrier. Freyevia, you don't need any hate. You are the only one alive, as Sephiroth is going to slice through her and take her out in game 1. I mentioned it before, but with Sandrooster winning his series, Zhalk is guaranteed in the 2nd seed, so he's not really fighting for much here other than bragging rights and try and win another series. Boon of the Lion comes out from the Sephiroth, but this is a very scary team to overcome. And the same comp is coming out from MaechenX to try and win it this time. Soldier's Honor comes out on turn 1 rather than the Concentration, interestingly enough. And MaechenX, if he wins this series, would clinch the 3rd spot, but if he loses, he opens the door for a potential King Delita to overcome him in the 3rd spot. So Ice Vitalization comes out from the Blade. Protect on the everybody. Steady Summer Flower again. This looks very, very similar to game 1. The biggest difference is that Concentration didn't come out from Cloud. So now the question is, what is he going to do on turn 2? That is basically the biggest difference. Otherwise, everything is the same to this point. I expect some sort of TMR. Maybe a Zombie TMR or a King Bradley TMR, something along those lines. It is the King Bradley TMR. Momentum, haste, and reaction block. So this is why he turned off Concentration to try and get one of the AoE buffs along with the haste TMR, thinking that might be the difference. And what does Blade go for here? He's just going to walk forward. He is actually out of buffs here, so I think he only did his first one. I don't think he did both, but I could be wrong about that. Taunting Spell coming out from Freyevia. Are these other 2 units in AoE range? They apparently are for Little Leela here. The Cloud is going to move. Where is he going to move to? Does he put himself in AoE range or outside of it? He's going to limit break onto the tank. How much damage is this going to do? It's going to be very telling to see if Machen has a chance in this fight. Oh my goodness. 1700. I have never seen somebody tank a Cloud limit break that well in my life. What is in the water over on Zhalk's side here? Good lord. Sephiroth's going to take out the Blade here. Protect is going to be on top of him. And man, this is going to be insanely difficult to overcome if you are MaechenX. 2300 from the cross slash. And whatever build that Zhalk is running on his Little Leela is incredibly impressive. Octaslash does come out from the Sephiroth. This is going to do a ton of damage to the Freyevia, I expect. 5700 is quite a good chunk to her. Obviously, does get reflexed by the Cloud, but honestly, I don't know how he's going to come back here. Taunting Spell can start a slash chain on the Sephiroth, but Cloud is going to have to do so much, and the healer is just untouched in the back. The Paralyze does work in MaechenX's favor, but Cloud out of AP, going to find the standard attack, and this is just going to be so hard to overcome. Kiriga hits all 3 units. They are now full health with AoE resist up. I expect Sephiroth to clean this up right here. He is going to pretty much do that. He's going to take out the Cloud. Regenerator procs for Freyevia, but Little Leela, if she's not paralyzed, which she is not, Taunting Spell will take care of it, and that is a 2-0 series win for Zhalk and the Boco buddies. So very, very impressive season all year. Honestly, Zhalk was incredibly fun to watch. The only series loss he had was to Sandrooster. Unfortunately for him, Sandrooster only lost 1 series as well, so Zhalk will be the 2nd seed, but I look forward to seeing him in the playoffs. I expect a lot of good things coming up from his team. MaechenX, will have to see if he ends up in the 3rd or the 4th spot. We have 2 more series to go. Let's check them out. Game 1 of this series, Highwind, Coach of Tears for Spears versus Willy Goats and the Corpse Brigade. Willy Goats unfortunately out of the playoffs, but Highwind still trying to find a spot. If they win this series and JAYBLACK loses his series, they will claim a spot, but that is the only circumstance they can do it. The AoE buff coming out from Flybearer Glassy, giving herself her barrier. Vacuum Veil coming out from the Joom. And on the other side, we've got Willy Goats running a full Black Mage VC composition with the Severo, Aerith, and Skahal comp. We'll see how this works. Sweet support coming out from the Misha, get the agility up on everybody. This is a Little Leela, the Bolds TMR. And Severo's going to go next. I expect he's going to channel his courage. I don't think he's in range to deal damage. He has a ton of range, but I don't think he's in range. Momentum comes out from the Flagbearer Glassy, and it is that Haste Perpetuator buff that I just discussed. The Haste and Courage online. Stormwind Ren coming out onto the Skahal. Honestly tanked quite well. The agility buff dropped here. Protective Familiar comes out from Aerith, and I do think that Skahal is still above his 70% threshold. If that's the case, that's pretty massive for Willy Goats. Divine Thunder Summon going to come out, try and land a paralysis on the other team here. Does it land on anybody? It does land on the tank. I'm sure that Willie would have liked to see that land on the Flagbearer Glassy, but Mish does actually survive as he's going to counter with a flare. Does this kill Skahal? 7593, it procs the Courage. So that answers our question from before as the re-raise removal comes out. Spear of Sending, Skahal is down, and this is now a 3v2 in Highwind's favor. Game 1 looking very, very good for him. Waterger Perpetuator is going to hit the entire team though and drop the Bravery. It kills Mish. Jum might be full paralyzed. It looks like she's going to just stand still. Shiny Conviction comes out from the Glaciella, but that does not remove Courage. Severo's going to get another opportunity here. Could Aerith heal him to full? If he can drop Bravery low enough, maybe he stands a chance here. It's going to be tough to do here, though. Jum is going to go next, and then Severo will follow up here. Jum is actually full paralyzed still, so she cannot do a single thing. And here comes Severo. He's going to channel another Waterger Perpetuator here. 2100 damage, dropping that Bravery again. But I think that just refreshes it. I could be wrong. We did see somebody turn into a chicken in one of our other videos last time, but I'm thinking that maybe that unit wasn't max Bravery or something like that. But the Limit Break comes out from Glaciella, absolutely decimating Severo, almost killing Aerith. She might be able to heal herself up, but I don't really think she's going to be able to return any damage here. This should be a Game 1 victory for Highwind and Tears for Spears. I will say, if he wins this game, even if he doesn't win the series, he puts himself ahead of JohnnyB, meaning JohnnyB will officially be out of the playoffs. Does she go for another heal on herself? It doesn't matter. Jum's going to find the standard attack. She's going to drop, and that's a Game 1 victory for Tears for Spears. After that Game 1 victory, we now know the final 5th seed will be either Highwind or JAYBLACK. Which one will it be? We're going to have to find out here. Spirit of Wazette comes out from Glaciella, finding that 3-hit barrier on herself and a AoE buff as well on Jum. Vacuum Veil again coming out from her. It looks like the same starting position and same comp coming out from Highwind, but this is the switch up coming from WillyGoat, subbing out the Aerith and putting in Alphonse. I think that's a pretty smart strategy. My one question is, though, as the Izumi stance come out from Alphonse, will Alphonse be able to get there before these units take out Skahal? I think he will. It doesn't look like they're going to be baited out far enough. As Tubbs Embrace comes out from the Severo. This is the Whisper TMR. I don't know how much I've ever seen that happen, but Alphonse's defense and Spirit are going to be absolutely nuts for one turn. The problem is, I think that turn is now over, as Alphonse is about to take his turn right after Skahal. But here comes Skahal, starting to channel a spell here. Alphonse is going to go next. Boulder Blockade comes out, 1500, dropping activation rate, attack, a couple of other nice things as well. Mish is going to follow up. Flare might do a decent amount of damage. 5740 is very respectable on the Alphonse. Sundiga Disposer going to drop another 4200 damage on the Jum and also remove some AP. With the new 140 for Skahal, he got even stronger. Dispelling Spear Flight comes out. Storm and Ren going to follow up, but this Severo is kind of tanky here. He's actually surviving. Should be able to find a Water Gun on the party here. Maybe he won't get an opportunity. Yes, he will, actually. Glaciella is going to find only a single target attack on the Alphonse, not an AoE. And this is looking very good for Highwind again here. The Water Gun Perpetuator not going to hit Glassy, going to drop the Bravery. It's going to kill Mish. Thundergun Disposer, does it kill Jum? It does not. And Glaciella is going to get another opportunity here. Looks like she can only find Severo, though. And with Skahal still alive, there is still a chance for Willie here. The standard attack comes out, but basically no damage. Skahal should be able to make this a 1v1 very quickly by killing Jum. What is he going to channel? It's just going to be a Thunder. And now Skahal versus Glassy. One of the oldest units in game versus one of the newer units in the game. Dispelling Spirit Flight will proc the Courage. But Skahal going to start channeling a spell. How much does Flare do? Should be quite a bit. 7,300 is a lot of damage. Here comes Glassy. Dispelling Spear Flight comes through. Skahal is going to drop, but he does have his re-raise. And now the question is, does he kill in one hit? She has 5,000 health. He should, unless it gets reflexed. He's going to start channeling. The Flare is going to come through. This should be the Game 2 victory for WillyGoats. This actually looked very good for Highwind early on, but WillyGoats picks up the Game 2 victory. And we are heading to a third game. Heading into Game 3 here. And the switch up from WillyGoats is actually subbing out the Alphonse and putting in Barret, interestingly enough. He basically said, hey, Alphonse really didn't get much done last time. Let's try out a different tank. We'll see if it works out for him. Highwind running a very similar strategy to the last time, although Glassy does find the buff on all 3 units, which I think in Game 1 she did not. I don't remember if she did for Game 2. WillyGoats doing somewhat similar positioning, but switching the side of the map as aimed fire comes out from the Barret. Interestingly enough, I don't often see that buff come out from Barret. I wonder if he will even get his courage buff online, which is normally a very good buff for him. Dove's Embrace comes out again from the Severo though, so he will have a ton of defense and spirit for a turn. But again, will it matter? The zombie TMR comes out from Glassy, which means she's not in range. I don't expect Joom to do much of any damage here. Dance of the Whirlwind will do basically nothing, 570. But I'm not sure how much that matters. But here comes Skahal to do a bunch of damage. And what does Barret have the opportunity to do? Point Blank comes through. 3390 is not too bad. Is this a Thundergut or a Flare? It is a Thundergut, which means Mish is going to drop. He will not get an opportunity to deal any damage, and that is very good for Willy Goats. Triple Cross only finds the Barret, can't find the Skahal. And hold on a second, guys. This might be really good for Willy Goats again in Game 3. Joom now with 25 AP. Here comes Severo. He's going to start channeling a spell. Skahal should be able to follow up with another Thundergut here. Watergut Perpetuator going to drop the Bravery. And Thundergut, how much damage does it do? Only 1,600 to Glassy. Wow, that was tanked astoundingly well. Blackout will take Joom out, though. And this is a 1v3 for Glassy to try and pull off. Shining Conviction kills the Severo. He did not get his Courage buff online. And I don't think Skahal ever did Zombie TMR either, which means these are two units with barely any health remaining versus the Glassy. She might still be able to pull it off, but Flare is a ton of damage. 7,000. Can Barret find a kill? No, it gets reflexed. It was just a standard attack. I don't know if that would have killed. It was 2,900 that he had to get. And Glassy finds a double kill. Oh my god, Skahal did use Re-Raise. I don't know how I missed that, but he did use it. Skahal might be able to find the kill right here. The cast time comes through. Thunder is 4,600 damage, but she used Zombie TMR as well. And now I wonder, does he get the debilitating counter? He does not. Glassy finds the kill. Highwind and Tears for Spears finds the Game 3 victory right at the end. Man, GG. I think she had 2,800 health when Barret standard attacked. I couldn't begin to tell you how much damage he would have done. So I have no idea whether that reflex mattered. Highwind and Willy might have a better idea than me, but regardless, it does not matter. It happened, and Highwind wins Game 3. This means that our final series has a ton of implications for the playoffs. A few scenarios here, guys. Our final series is King Delita versus JAYBLACK. If JAYBLACK wins the series, he will make the playoffs. If he wins 2-0, he will be the 4th seed. 2-1, he would be the 5th seed. King Delita has already clinched due to tiebreaker scenarios, but King Delita also wants to win because if he wins, he will clinch the 3rd seed instead of MaechenX. So there's a ton of implications here. Let's check out the final series of the Leonis division in the regular season. Final series of the Leonis regular season. We have King Delita's Arknights versus JAYBLACK's Chronic Fatigue. This should be a banger. JAYBLACK coming out with the Starlight Elena, Summer Killfay, and Shadowlink's team. A very dodgy team as the King Bradley TMR comes out from Starlight Elena on turn 1. Illusion coming out from the Shadowlinks to make sure the team is very evasive. But there are some guaranteed hitters on the other side here coming out from King Delita. Enchanting Skies comes out from Summer Helena. Garvel has Greater Chi Barrier online on turn 1. And what is Summer Killfay going to go for here? She's got 38 AP at the moment. She's going to start with the Spirit Ward Mastery. Attack up, Spirit up, Magic Attack Resist up. That's actually going to be very useful against basically a full magic composition coming out from King Delita. As the sweet support, Little Ela the Bold TMR coming out from Murmur. I've Tempered My Resolve comes out from Starlight Elena, which means she is now not only hasted, but also has Courage. And speaking of Courage, Summer Helena is going to use hers to match it. Jealous Wrath coming out from the Garble, though. So one of these TMRs that can sometimes be a surprise if you're not prepped for it. This is Vega TMR to try and get ready to berserk the other team. And does JAYBLACK have any berserk resistance in the kit? We'll find out. Treasures Hunter's Fortune coming out from the Shadowlinks. Agility and Luck up. Spirit Ward Mastery just going to get refreshed again, so the entire team has it. Starlight Elena, is she in range to deal damage? She is not. Evildoers Beware upgrades the evasion, but will it matter if there's guaranteed hitters on the other side? Summer Helena, can she get in range to do it? No, she can't. She's going to use her alternate forms TMR, the Black Rose one for the 3-hit barrier and agility. Detonation Blast is 7,000 damage, and it lands the Berserk. That is so massive for King Delita in this first game. Starlight Elena is going to be functionally useless at this moment unless she can dodge until the point where she lives. But I don't think that's going to happen. Fast Cast finishes on the Murmur. Summer Killfay going to follow up, but she can't find damage. And Starlight Elena can't either because she is berserked. Murmur, is she going for a fast cast? Is she going for damage here? I expect this might be a Stonega or something along those lines. The Midsummer Magic comes through from Summer Helena and both get dodged. She did 0 damage on that attack. I'm actually stunned that she didn't go for a guaranteed hit there. But the Limit Break coming up for Summer Killface, something I haven't seen in a long time. Very, very cool. Puts him in a giant bubble and slashes right through it. 3,800 damage, not too bad. Detonation Blast comes out again, though, and it lands another Berserk. Oh my goodness, and the Courage got removed. Even though the attack missed, the Courage got removed from Summer Helena, and that might have been why she went for that. Dark Haze comes through, 3k damage is decent, but this Garvel is just doing so much work here, berserking everybody in his path. Detonation Blast comes through, another kill, and this Garvel is just destroying the team of JAYBLACK in game number 1. Solarization will come through, heal up Summer Helena, and that is a game 1 victory for the Arknights. Heading into game number 2 with JAYBLACK's playoff hopes back against the wall, trying to win this series. Needs to win not only this game, but another game. What does he bring out? He goes for Snow, Curry Wazette, and Lucia. And it looks like King Delita is bringing the exact same team as last time. He said, hey, it worked incredibly well last time. Let's run it again. Lucia comes out with the sharpshooting stance, missile attack up, effect range up, defense and missile attack piercing. Just an incredibly strong buff for her as Reprieve comes out from Snow, giving himself some courage. Curry Wazette is going to go next. He's going to find the Frostmaw Barrage. Does land the Frostbite on the Murmur, so she will not be much of an offensive threat as her AP will start to get whittled down. Sweet Support does come through, though, and she is going to be able to at least heal and buff the team. Immortal Spirit on the Summer Helena means she has Courage online, and I don't think there's any Courage removal on the other side. Jealous Wrath again coming out from the Garvel, and now you wonder, are they prepped for this time? I know JAYBLACK probably wasn't ready for it in game 1. Dual Trigger comes out, eating away at that barrier on Garvel. Decent damage here as Spirit Breaker will finally kill the rest of that barrier, and Snow is in great position here for JAYBLACK. He is far away from the team, but it seems like to me there might be Bowtie Murmur in the back, considering that Curry is going for her back there. That is just what I'm thinking, but at this point she would no longer have hate if that's the case. She does get immobilized, and Mermaid Dance, a giant water bomb comes from Summer Helena. That was 11k. What the hell? That was so much damage. Garvel's just going to standard attack and kill the tank, and as much as I said this looked good for JAYBLACK, they need to kill this Garvel very, very quickly. Sharpshoot is not going to target him. It's going to kill the Murmur in the back, which is great. But unless they can reflex, this is going to be tough because Garvel's going to go next. He might be able to find an AoE here. He's going to Spirit Blaster 13,000 damage onto both units, and that is a hell of a way to finish the season. King Delita finds the 2-0 series victory over JAYBLACK, clinching himself the 3rd seed and clinching Highwind a playoff spot. Absolutely amazing series. JAYBLACK, I'm sorry, I know some heartbreak at the end. Thank you so much for playing all season. It was a joy to watch. Let's go ahead and check out the standings. 9 weeks over and done with, guys. The whole regular season comes to a close here for the Leonis division, and this is how the standings shake out at the end of it. We have a 2-way tie for first between Sandrooster and Zhalk, Unicorn Gunfight and Boco Buddies, both with 24 points, the same record, and plus 12. However, Sandrooster did win the head-to-head, which means he will claim that first overall seed. King Delita of Arknights now at 19 points, with MaechenX losing this week to Zhalk and King Delita winning his series. He jumps up to the 3rd seed, 19 points, 6-1-2 record, plus 4 overall. King Delita didn't even make playoffs last season, season 2, so a huge upgrade for him this season, making sure to get in that top 3 spot. Really awesome to see for him. Very, very cool, and excited to see what he does in the playoffs. But 2 teams who are going to face off against each other next week are the 4th and 5th seed, MaechenX of the Shoometal Alchemists and Highwind of Tears for Spears. With JAYBLACK losing and Highwind winning, he manages to pick up that 5th playoff spot, so this should be a really interesting matchup to check out. I know earlier in the season, MaechenX won this series when they played head-to-head, but it looks like Highwind will have a chance to try and get some revenge. Can he pull it off? So the other 5 teams who did not make the playoffs, hats off to them though. 3 teams with 13 points. JAYBLACK of Chronic Fatigue, AllSmokedUp of the Trap Queens, and JohnnyB of the Disposable Heroes. This was a 3-way tie. They all beat each other in head-to-head. JAYBLACK beat AllSmokedUp, AllSmokedUp beat JohnnyB, and JohnnyB beat JAYBLACK. They all had 13 points. So in a head-to-head or in a tiebreaker where all 3 beat each other, we go to plus-minus first. And if it separates one team out of it, we take them out in regard of whatever fashion, whether they're first by themselves or last by themselves. So JohnnyB is last by himself, and then it comes down to these 2 teams. So then at that point, we go back to the head-to-head record. JAYBLACK beat AllSmokedUp, which means they finished the season 6th, 7th, and 8th. This really only matters if they are deciding to participate in the Toilet Bowl. We'll see how many teams want to do that, but that is why that kind of matters for them. Willie Goats of the Corpse Brigade with 9 points, always a fan favorite to watch, and same with Taiyo of Fire Force with 5. Didn't manage to pick up any sort of series wins, but he was very creative in his team building. We saw a lot of cool like Esper Tech and stuff like that. Overall, this division was an absolute joy to watch all season and a joy to cast. It was a lot of fun. But for these 5 teams at the top, I'm excited to see what they can do in the next handful of weeks here. It should be a lot of fun. So we've got 2 more videos for you guys over the next day or so to check out. I'm excited for those. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.